are live, everyone. Welcome to the Coaching to Flourish podcast. Sorry, we're a little bit late. I'm getting used to this new and exciting platform, aren't I, John?
It's all learning curves, and this one's fun because now you can chat in either YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and we'll see it in real time. So this is our first interactive workshop.
So this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So if you want to add any comments, you want to chat to us, for those of you that are familiar with listening to the Coaching to Flourish podcast, I am your host, Raj Anderson, Executive Life Coach and Coach Assessor. And I am here with John Andrew Williams, who is the founder of Coach Training EDU. How's it going, John?
Good. Yeah. I mean, it's nice to get this live going. So it's like, yay, we got here. And yeah, it's nice. So I'm feeling pretty good.
We made it. And so today we are listening to part 2 of a demo that we started a couple of weeks ago. Are we going to get straight into that, John?
Just go straight to it. Let's get there. Here we go. Got it queued up. There we are. And let's see how, I believe we're not too far into it. I want to say around in here.
What point did you get frustrated, or are you frustrated with it?
All right, let's go back. Let's just get a little more. This is where I had
that part. But like, what's the? We'll go there next. But what did it do? Like, because it's here for a reason. What's the reason it's here?
Yeah.
Let's go back just a little bit more. Here we go. Good spot. This is my pause, by the way. I think so. Oh, good. I blinked.
Did the fear propel you to a certain level of success? Well, how would you describe like the success it propelled you to?
I think it actually kept me from success.
Yeah, we got that part. But like, what's the? Yeah. We'll go there next. But what did it do? Like, because it's here for a reason. What's the reason it's here?
Yeah. I think it kept me from feeling embarrassed if something doesn't work, and it kept me from other people thinking, she can't do that. I think it's embarrassment, so keeping me from embarrassing myself.
At what point did you get frustrated, or are you frustrated with it?
I usually get frustrated with it when it comes up after I've done a good job. Because instead of telling myself, you've done a good job, I'm telling myself, you were just lucky. And I'm sure you're not going to reproduce that in the next session or in the next exam.
Right. If you were to imagine this as a little cartoon creature, like a little something like 2 or 3 inches tall that was sitting on the edge of your desk, what would you imagine it would look like? Something saying these things to you.
Mm-hmm. It would be a little dwarf, red pants, blue shirt, and a red hat, like the dwarf's hat, and this squeaky voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
And it would just, not stop talking, just going on and on and on, that you're not good enough, you will never, you've done well, but that was just luck, you're not gonna You're not going to excel in what you do. You don't have what you need to have to succeed. Everyone else will be better. Even if they're not better yet, they will overtake you eventually. So, it's better to stop now, because then, you're not going to embarrass yourself.
What do you want to say to it?
That he should stop talking, and that I'm capable of more than I ever thought, and that I have what it takes, and that I just need to believe in me. And if you don't believe in me, then just go away.
Nice. Yeah. Is he going away?
Getting smaller. He'll probably come back.
What's his job description?
Keeping Dominic small.
Mm.
Very simple.
Why is he attached?
I'll pause here, Raj. What are your thoughts?
I'm loving these questions. What's his job description? And just to remind anyone who listened to part one of the comments I made, John, was how easily you just transitioned into the inner critic tool here. Often coaches feel that they need to give a real big description. Are we going into the tool now? But you kind of effortlessly went into introducing the inner critic tool there, and he got into it very quickly. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and call that out to coaches that are listening, as in sometimes we can overthink introducing a tool, yet you just transitioned into it. Is there anything you would add to what I'm saying around that?
Yeah, it's interesting. At the beginning part, so she's wrestling with this idea that when she's in these spaces, it's not, she doesn't feel like she's capable in the space. And my initial reaction, I was asking her, well, what's useful about it? And she's like, well, there's nothing useful about this. Part of me thinks, okay, so then let's just scrap it. But I think, I didn't believe her. So, well, what's here? It's here for a reason. What's the reason here? That kind of thing. Okay, it's fear. It keeps me safe. All right, great. I think this is an example of not necessarily believing 100% the answer of your client. Like I talked about this with the 2.0 just recently, about this idea that, 2.0 advanced course, this idea that at a certain point in time, when it feels like you don't always have to believe your client in the sense of, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to always take if your client says, oh, there's no fear here. You can go, well, I feel like there is, or there's no usefulness to the fear. Well, okay, what's that 1% or 2% usefulness? That's a decision point. And I can see sometimes saying, you know what, I'm just going to believe my client 100% and go with it. And then other times it's like, no, I'm going to poke it just a little tiny bit, just one more question to see where this goes. I don't know. I mean, this one I go back and forth on. I don't know if I've ever cleaned that part up, if I need to clean that part up. But I think what I'm finding is, I just, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, all right, let's effortlessly go to the inner critic exercise. I don't need to explain it. I'm just going to go for the first step, and I'm going to make it small and manageable. If there was a little tiny cartoon figure that personified that inner negativeness, what would that little tiny cartoon character say? And then go from there. That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. And as I'm listening to you, I'm also wondering the difference here between trusting your client and believing them, because it's not that you're not trusting in them, that you know that something else is showing up here that's potentially deeper, that they themselves don't even realize. And that's our role as a coach, isn't it? Is to help our coachees see those limiting factors and see those blocks.
I like that distinction. You know, sometimes you can trust your client, but you don't always have to believe them. Wow. How does that work? You know? I think it comes to sometimes too, like, because we all do it. We all say like, oh, like I can't get there, or oh, like this is hard, or I'm dealing with, you know, you fill in the blank, and then it's a little bit of like, okay, well then do we just believe our client? Like, do we believe the limiting belief they just said? You know, no, you don't have to believe the limiting belief that they just said. The idea is to believe, you know, the idea is to trust the most brilliant self of client, you know, trust the most brilliant aspect of client. What I'm trusting right now in Dominique is, yeah, she totally has, you know, a confident self, you know, a confident, like, let's go there. Like, I believe in her confident self. That's the part I'm coaching. This inner critic work is really useful, and we're going to like leverage this into confident self pretty soon.
Great. Thank you, John. Should we keep listening to a bit more?
Yeah, let's keep it going. This is fun. And by the way, if any of you have comments, I'm pretty sure we could see the comments. I'm not quite sure exactly where this goes, but if you want to make a comment, go for it. I'm going to keep this playing then.
I think we have a long relationship, so he's been there for a while. I'd say since I'm like 14, 15. So he thinks I can't do without him. For him, it's he's here to protect me from failing. He's here to protect me from embarrassment. So in his view, he's doing a good job. He keeps keeping me small and safe. So he keeps me safe in a safe space.
What happens when you thank him for those things?
Like, I didn't understand.
What happens when you thank him? Like, how does he respond when you thank him for keeping you safe? Up to now.
Hey, Raj, I want to let this play. The sprinklers are on, and I got a bag of cement, like bags of cement that it might land on. I got to go turn these off. I'll be right back, but I'm going to let it roll.
All right, no worries.
He feels proud and he did a good job. Yeah.
And what different job would you like to give him? Like, if you were to say, thank you for your services, but now I have a new job for you. This is your new job. Here it is. What new job would you love to give them?
To make Dominique big.
Yeah. All right. And what's the job description?
To support me in my decision, to let me know good enough, to let me know that it's okay to fail and to learn from it, and that it's okay doing new things and not immediately be brilliant, you know, to remind me why I started something, and to build to help build my confidence, telling me, hey, you're capable of so much more than you think. just let it out.
What energy just shifted right there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very powerful, you know. Makes me already like a bit bigger.
Yeah.
I already feel bigger. It feels like, you know, now everything is open. Like every door I can just go through and I'll be able to manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fun moment, right?
Yeah. It's really like the way you've just called out the energy shifts. And I think the other thing I want to share here is, you know, you're using the inner critic tool here, yet I really like the questions around job description. How would the job change? Because that's shifting the energy of the inner critic to having had a purpose for her. Sometimes when I hear this tool being done in a session, it can be, how do we get rid of the inner critic? Yet here it's demonstrated that it's served a purpose. She says it's been around for a long time. And by reframing or shifting that purpose, through your questions, you see her energy change in that. What are your thoughts, John?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, what's lovely about this is she is the one who's telling herself, these are the things that I need to tell my inner critic. I could very easily have said those things. Oh, this, you know, you've got this. You're not just lucky, you know, all of these things, but it's coming from her. So she's literally doing her own internal work right here. I feel like it's such a powerful, this is such a powerful tool. Yeah. Keep it going a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
It seems relatively straightforward. You know, we have 8 minutes left, or we could stop here and say, "Yay, we got our stream going." Next time we'll start closer to, 11:35, our usual Pacific Coast start time. I know it's a little later on the East Coast, and then maybe we'll get some comments. You know, people can join in and comment in, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to see the comments too on this part. But I think the main thing here from the inner critic, just put a bow on this, is it's a tool that I think can be pulled out at any point in time. And it can be pulled out quite quickly with, if you were to personify that inner narrative, what would it look like? And it doesn't always have to be critic either. You could always personify, the determined self, the resilient self, the future self. And we do these things as coaches. And I feel like there's a lot of power in identifying and looking at, these aspects of self, and then trying to figure out how we manage and operate.
Sounds like a good plan, John. So join us next week as we hear John wrap up with the inner critic. This was a 20-minute session. We just saw how he moved through the inner critic. And we would love for you to join us in asking us questions or observations and comments as we kind of listen to this wrapping up bit with Dominique on the inner critic. So we figured it out today. We'll join you on this again next week. Thank you, John. Grateful for you.
You too. Thanks, Raj. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's a fun space. Like now we have more bells and whistles. It's going to be fun. Thank you all for watching, and see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.